giving us details of the pharmaceutical industry. Now, to elaborate further on the issue, joining us in the studio is Dr. Zakiuddin, who is director of a local pharmaceutical company. So we'll be talking to Mr. Zaki about the overall scenario of the pharmaceutical industry. Dr. Zakiuddin, thank you very much for joining us here on Dawn News.
Thank you for inviting me.
Now, Doctor, I'll start off with the first question. Now, is it ethical, first of all, to influence a doctor to prescribe a certain brand of medicine to the patient?
A general answer to the question is it is not ethical to over-influence the doctor, because the discretionary power remains with the doctor. He decides which medicine to prescribe to a patient for a particular disease. But we need to understand the whole scenario first in order to really have an insight of the situation. There's a three-party, tripartite relationship in exists here. And there are three stakeholders. The first is the patient, who is the real ultimate beneficiary of this relationship. The second is the doctor, who is the custodian and who takes care of the interests of the patient on his behalf, and interacts with the pharmaceutical industry. The third stakeholder is the pharmaceutical industry itself. So these three stakeholders are the main players in this relationship. The doctor, who is looking after the interests of the patient, interacts with the pharmaceutical industry, because the industry provides him or her with the tools through which he performs his job. The job of a doctor, for which he has been trained, is to treat the patient, to alleviate suffering and misery of the patient.
Okay, now, Doctor, since the country does not have any effective mechanism to sort of check the claims of the pharmaceutical industry, so in your opinion, if it's safe to check these medicines directly on the patients then?
No, actually the doctors prescribe only those medicines which have already been proved and tested. And they have gone through a vigorous process of different clinical trials internationally and nationally. And they have been registered by the Ministry of Health, and proper approvals have been given. So the doctors, after they get this approvals, only then the product can come into the market for the doctors to use.
Okay, and Doctor, on a lighter note now, we often hear reports and rumors that certain doctors prescribe certain medicines because the incentives being offered by the company of that particular brand, for example, offer the doctor expensive gifts or other lucrative offers, so that he only sort of prescribes those medicines. Is this true, first of all? And secondly, if a doctor does this, is this ethically justified?
The answer to the first question is that it is true. And at some points you can see this happening, and this has been a real problem, not only for the doctors but for the pharmaceutical industry itself. And I think the ultimate beneficiary is paying the cost of this unethical relationship which does exist.
And this comes over to my next question. I was asking that the promotion cost of these medicines, is that incorporated into the overall cost which the end consumer pays for the medicine then?
Actually, for any kind of a marketing campaign for a product, there is a budget. And the ethical way of promotion, which has been accepted and agreed and approved internationally, is that the pharmaceutical industry can spend their margin of their profits on academic activities, or getting the doctors equipped with certain skills and knowledge through which they can, again, in this tripartite relationship, they can treat their patients in the best possible manner. So if we get a paradigm shift from a dependent/independent mindset to a totally interdependent relationship, where the pharmaceutical industry and the doctors, they realize that it's an interdependent relationship, then only the ultimate beneficiary, which is the patient, will really get the benefit from this relationship.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Zakiuddin, for taking our time and joining us.
Thank you for giving the time.
Thank you. Dr. Zakiuddin there giving us his analysis on the overall industry. He is a doctor as well as director of a pharmaceutical